In a statement during a hearing regarding hate speech, the Supreme Court gave a very significant remark on the importance of the state. It said that hate speech is happening because the state is impotent, the state is powerless, and the state does not act in time, and will stop the moment politics and religion are segregated. That is actually a very crucial question, and the intensity of the statement shows that the Supreme Court is very concerned about the justice in society. Namaste and welcome to TFIPost. I'm your host Paurush Gupta. Let's begin. But it is just a single part of the hearing. The further dialectical debate unveiled many statements that actually raised questions about court's wise sense of judgment. Justice K.M. Joseph, heading a bench that also included Justice B.V. Nagaratna, was hearing a plea by Shaheen Abdullah. A journalist from Kerala is seeking contempt proceedings against the state police of Maharashtra. He blamed the police for not acting to restrain inflammatory speeches at rallies organized by some Hindu outfits despite the court's direction. During the proceedings, K.M. Joseph's disappointment was so great that he asked, "Why do we have a state at all when all this is happening?" But soon Tushar Mehta, the Solicitor General representing the state, responded that center is not silent, and in fact states like Kerala were silent when the calls for the genocide of Hindus and Christians were made in a PFI rally during May 2022. He even questioned the bench silence by asking, when the court already knew it, why didn't take suo motu cognizance of it? It is noteworthy that Indian courts have the jurisdiction of suo motu, using which they can address any crucial issue in the country that is not brought before them by anyone. Solicitor General Tushar Mehta did not stop there. He further argued that a spokesperson of DMK said, and I quote, "Whatever Periyar says should have been done. If you want equality, you must butcher all Brahmins," unquote. But unfortunately, Tushar Mehta's statement was less a demand for justice and more a joke for Justice K.M. Joseph said. Justice Joseph laughed after listening to the horrible reality and deteriorating conditions of Brahmins in the society. But Mehta, disappointed again, argued that it's not a laughing matter. I won't laugh it away. This man does not face FIR. Not only that, he continues to be a spokesperson of a recognized political party. To this, Justice Joseph asked if the Solicitor General knew who Periyar was. It is good to see that court proceedings are now open to the public. At least we sitting in our homes can know the level of arguments and questions being raised on sincere matters of justice. Nevertheless, Mehta replied to the general knowledge question by saying that he knew who Periyar was and that hate speech cannot be justified just because someone great said about it. Indeed, this argument is sensible. I mean, how can a lynching call by a great leader of a faction be entitled to be equivalent to a heavenly verse? After this, Mehta asked for a permission to play a clip of a PFI rally where a child was sloganeering for the genocide of Hindus and Christians, but the bench did not allow him to do so. The Solicitor General pleaded, "I want your lordships to see it. Unfortunately, it's from Kerala. Let me play a clip. If the petitioner is showing something that is disturbing your lordships, and rightly so, this should shock the conscience of the court on two counts. First, that such a thing has happened and that this public-spirited man, the petitioner, who hails from Kerala, is not bringing this fact to the notice of this court." Justice Joseph told him that they knew the developments, and again a debate started between judge and Solicitor General. Mehta said, and I quote, "If your lordships know that, then your lordships should have taken suo motu cognizance of this along with it. Why are we shying away from seeing it?" unquote. To this, Justice Joseph said, and I quote, "The major problem is when politicians make use of religion for power." Mehta said, the clip from Kerala had nothing to do with politics, but was pure and simple religious hate speech. Justice Joseph objected and said it has everything to do with politics. Hate is a vicious circle. The state will have to initiate action, and the moment politics and religion are segregated, all this will stop. We are telling you whether you take it seriously or not. Meanwhile, Justice B.V. Nagaratna tried to balance the situation, and she clearly said that leaders from both sides are indulged in practicing hate speech. Citing the examples of Nehru and Vajpayee, Justice Nagaratna categorically differentiated the current leaders from the erstwhile. She highlighted the intellectual depravity of the people of India and showed concern by asking how we will make India number one like this. Justice Joseph addressed the Council for Sakal Hindu Samaj, a party in the case that is alleging hate speech in Maharashtra. Justice Joseph tried to explain the court's intent by saying that minorities chose to stay in this country and saying go to Pakistan is derogatory, and there are IPC provisions that are used to invoke power. He also said that the majority of the people in this country are tolerant and there are only a few people who are responsible for propagating hate. Joseph said, "They are like your brothers and sisters. What we are saying is that things should not go to that extent." To this, counsel for Sakal Hindu Samaj said, "What the court fears will never happen as long as my client is in the majority in this country." The bench issued notice of the contempt plea and fixed it for hearing on April 20th. This shows what happens in the court during the proceedings. Now I leave it to you to deduce how fruitful and impactful discussions are held in the Supreme Court.